Welcome back, cleaners. It's aisle 4 here with a new tutorial. Today we're going to be working on a pumpkin / melon farm. I'm going to use pumpkins, but they can be intersposed with melons. So either way, both of them work for this farm. I saw someone saw it on stream. I said, "Do you want to make a tutorial?" They said yes. I've had this farm for about a year now, so in my survival world. So I thought, hey, I'll throw a tutorial together. I saw someone else build one. I put one together that worked for me. So one of the first things you have to do is have a 9x9 square as marked out by these blocks, just like a normal growth. It could be 5x5, 3x3. I did a 9x9. You get a good amount of pumpkins out of it, and it's just easier because you do a lot of crops that way. We're going to dig down a couple blocks here, 2 blocks, and put in our chest. That's where we're going to receive our storage. You can have more than one. We're going to start with one. It isn't a big deal. And we're going to feed hoppers into it because our hopper minecart is going to be dropping pumpkins off into these hoppers, which will then feed into the chest. This is going to be underneath the farm. That's why we're building here first. So we're going to put down some powered rails, some regular rails in the corners to make the turns, and then a line of redstone blocks to power the whole thing across the middle. You could do it with redstone torches as well up underneath the blocks, but redstone blocks are decently easy to come by, even early game. So we just use those. We are going to put those together, pop them in the middle, and then run our rails all the way around. So you want powered rails to keep it moving. I'm sure you could have spaces in there, but it's just a smaller amount of space, just as easy to run through and do. So we're going to put our powered rails here, along here, around the corner, and then we will be right back when it's done. And we're back. Look at that. So fast. All right, so I moved a block out over the end, and now I'm going to put some building blocks because this is where we're going to hold this. So obviously you can't cover up the chest. That's why I left that space above the chest. You don't have to use the building blocks that I'm using. It could be anything, any stone, any wood, carpet. It doesn't really matter. I like the acacia because it kind of goes with the orangish pumpkin look. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. And feel free to leave a comment. Ask any questions. The more comments, the better. So we've got our base in. We are all set up, and we are ready to rock and roll on putting the dirt on top. We're going to put the dirt on top of the rails. So it will end up being a 9x9 grid on top of the rails that we will then plant our pumpkins on and then build above that. So basically you just point at the rail and it will let you pop the dirt right in there. Dirt or full grass blocks are fine. It doesn't matter on either one. There we go. So now we've got our dirt in there. You can see I left a hole in the middle because that is where we're going to put our water, right? So we've got to saturate or hydrate, I should say, the 9x9 square, 5x5 square, 3, however big you make this. So we do have to hydrate it just like a normal crop field, even though we're hardly going to use any of it. So we're going to get a slab, excuse me, wow. We're going to get a slab and we're going to make a bottom slab into this hole, and then we're going to waterlog it. So we're going to pop the bottom slab in there, get our bucket of water, and then we're going to put that in there, and boom, we've got hydration for this area. Easy peasy. Next thing we're going to do is get our hoe, and we're going to hoe out 16 spots, right? So not the full field, just 16. And we want to make sure that there's squares free all the way around. So we're going to put spaces in between each one and between them and the row as well. So left and right, we want those spaces. That way we've got all the spaces we can for a pumpkin to grow, right? Or a melon. We want them to have as many spaces as possible in their growth cycle. So we're going to get those set in there. Boom. Looks good. Nice and easy. That's all you have to do. You do not have to hoe the other areas. Make sure you don't jump on these spots and revert them back to regular dirt. You want to make sure that they're there. So then we're going to grab our seeds, pumpkin or melon seeds. It doesn't matter which one. In this case, I am using pumpkin seeds, and we're going to plant them in the 16 different areas. Once they're in, at that point, you could grow them. So you can use bone meal and grow them. Because I'm still building, I wait, right? I just wait. They'll grow on their own because there's a lot that we have to put on there. On top of these seeds, facing down into them, is going to be our observer. So we're going to take our observer. We're going to find that very small little hitbox. And as you can see, the observer is facing down and his butt is in the air, right? That's what we want. We want him looking down so he can see changes of state. Right? That's what we want. So once he can see changes of state and we redstone him up, he'll see changes. Look at that weather change. All right, so I've got all the observers in. Now comes the time when we're going to have to put the pistons in, right? So the pistons are kind of tricky. What you want to do is you want to go on top of your observers, and you're going to make a grid off of them. So you're going to put the block directly, and it could be any building block. It doesn't have to, it's whatever you want. I'm using the same acacia wood. But you put your blocks on top of all the observers, and you start building your grid here. You want your grid to be all the way around each one in a star pattern. So you'll see as we get through here, we're going to put this here, and then we're going to put them like that and like that, so that any place a pumpkin can grow, there's going to be a block 2 spaces above it, because right above it is going to be a piston. So here you can see the completed grid. Now the block that we put on top of the observer, the one that was on top of the observer we took out, it's gone. Take your piston, get below these blocks, and boom, pop them in. From the outside, the edge ones, they're super easy, right? You can just pop those in because you have lots of free space. To get the inside ones, it's going to be a little difficult. You got to be a little tricky. You got to get down there, squat it just right, and get up close and get that just that edge. Boom. Unless you already have elytra, then you might be able to fly. So just get that edge. It's sometimes they'll point at you, sometimes they'll point against you. You think, oh, I got this. This is the right way. And then boom, you don't have it. So you just get that edge right there, and you're good to go. Let's get all these pistons in and make sure that they are ready for adding the redstone when the time comes. So we're going to go all the way around and put them on every block like this. So now we got them. We're back. Okay, there we go. So all our pistons are in. Our observers are in. The pistons are surrounding the observers. In just a second, we're going to throw our minecart in there and get it running. It will run eternally unless you go in there and bump it, or you want to stop it so you break it. Then we're going to get ready to put the redstone on top that's going to power these things for when they grow. We got to put some walls in to catch it so it doesn't fall on the outside, but we want to make sure. So we'll start with the wall. We're going to make it 3 high just to match up, and it keeps anything from falling out. You can do anything you want. It doesn't have to be the glass like I just did. It can be whatever that you want to be in there. Just something to keep it from coming out. I like glass because I want to see what's going on, right? I want to see, what if something breaks? What if something's not working right? What do I do? So once we have that, we left this hole open. We're going to throw our minecart in here, and it is ready to go. Boom. And then we can seal this up, and we're all done with it. We no longer need to get in there unless something happens to the minecart. We're now going to get our redstone. We're going to put 1 redstone on each observer, just 1 dot on each observer. You can see its tendrils are the way they have it set now with the new update. Its tendrils are reaching out to all the pistons around it. So, and multiple, right? I mean, it could be any growth kicking off the side pistons. So that's why you have this many observers, this many pistons, and boom, it's ready to go. That's about it. Once it starts growing, once the pumpkins grow now, like you just saw the pistons fire because the stem changed state because it grew. Once they start growing and they start popping out, that's it. Your minecart will start collecting it. I go in here right now, and I'm going to go ahead and throw some bone meal on here and watch it grow. You can see every time it changes state that the piston will fire. All the pistons fire. Boom, just like that. Same thing that'll happen when a pumpkin grows because it's changed of state. It'll bend over with the pumpkin. State changes, the 4 pistons fire. Whichever side the pumpkin's on, you're good to go. All right, so we grew all the stems just on the outside just so you can get a quick glance at what's going on. The minecart's running. We've got a couple picked up already. It's not fast, right? It's not like some super you're going to get 1,000 pumpkins a minute or anything like that. It's just a process that continues running. It's very nice to build it someplace where you're working, like around your main base. That way when you're working or hanging out around your main base, the pumpkins are still going, and it works out pretty well. You don't need any farmers. You don't need any villagers for this, but the pumpkins are great for when you want to trade with villagers, especially farmers, because you can really build them up with that. Like I said, I did this 9 by 9. It could be 5 by 5. It could be 3 by 3. You could do 9 by 9 stacked next to each other. You could do one super long row of 5 by however long the row is, just making sure that every 9 blocks you've got a water source, or a water source that covers every 9 blocks. We're going to seal it up. I put glass all the way around it. I'm throwing some lights in here. You don't necessarily need to put them in there. I think it looks really good. We want to make it, kind of spawn proof if we can. So I'm putting lights in. We sealed the glass up, and then I'm going to put bottom slabs along the top. That will keep anything from spawning on top. You know, a lot of times with your builds, if you don't mob proof the top, you end up with 1,000 spiders up there, or 20 skeletons, or a creeper dive bombing you from the top. So we got our lights in, we got our walls built. Looks pretty good. It's kind of orangey, like a little pumpkin-y thing. All we got to do now is throw the slabs in. Make sure that they're bottom slabs on Java. I'm not really sure if Bedrock bottom slabs work. If you're on Bedrock, you probably just want to make sure you light it up well. Got all the bottom slabs in. Everything's looking good. Again, remember, this whole thing can be moduled. You can make it as long as you want. You can connect them all. You can connect the hopper so they're going, like if you're on a server and maybe you need huge pumpkin farms, you can go up with it. It doesn't just have to be ground level. So you could stack it on top, to the side, however you want to go, and it will continue. Again, don't forget, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you like this video and was helpful, give it a big thumbs up. If you have any comments, see anything that could be changed or some ideas, please feel free to leave a comment. They're greatly appreciated. All right, so there we have it. A nice, simple build. You can do it pretty early game. Requires like a little bit of quartz, some redstone to make the hoppers and the observers, but really nothing super complicated. Doesn't take a lot of resources. You could start with just a 5x5 or a 3x3 and then expand it into the 9x9 and then module. Depends on what you have in the game where you have it. You guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you later. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you